Hi Capricorn, it's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today I'm here to discuss the Sagittarius Full Moon, and it's happening May 31st, 2026. It is at 1:45 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So check for your time around the world, Universal Time. That will be about, I believe, about 8:45 a.m. And so the full moon is an exciting one. So this full moon, Capricorn, this is going to be for your sun, moon, and rising. And the full moon is about our philosophy and the wisdom that we've gained, or the wisdom that we will gain with the impact of the full moon. Now, full moons bring endings and new beginnings and culminations. We're always leading up to a full moon, right? Right now, the moon is in Scorpio when I'm recording this, and today is the 28th. And so it's moving toward the full moon, and we see the full moon. I have the chart up, and I have you on the ascendant. Okay, that way you can see things clearly for yourself. And don't pay attention to the MC, the DC, the IC, or the AC. They've been moved around, right? The AC is usually in the first house, not all the time, but most of the time. Yeah, so that's how that works. So don't pay attention to that because I moved you over here and that shifts things around. Everything else is the same. All right. The moon is at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. And what is a nine? A nine is a completion. It is. But this full moon it is a blue moon because we have two full moons in 1 month, and that doesn't happen. That's a rare once in a while or once in a blue moon, as they say. And so it's special. And Sagittarius or Jupiter, the ruler of the full moon, is about growth and expansion. It's about something kind of being a lot. It is. And that's why, Jupiter is associated with the big picture or anything that is dynamic and big. And Jupiter is also, it is about our growth and expansion. It's about higher education, your purpose. And so this full moon will have a lot to do with, it can be showing us our purpose, or maybe if we're not living with purpose or we need to, because Jupiter is associated with meaning, all right, and purpose. So, yeah. So, we have to start out, we have you here, and this is your first house. Sagittarius, the full moon is in your 12th house, right? And the axis itself, Capricorn, is the intellectual axis because Gemini is the mind and Sagittarius is the higher mind. I'm not saying Sagittarius is better at all. I'm saying that Gemini is the mind, the rational mind we use to, go to work and, study and take a test, drive your car, etc. It's your daily activities in your life in general. It really is. And over here is in Sagittarius, the higher mind speaks of God and higher realms and higher education, meaning and purpose, anything that you may be reaching for the higher mind. It is religion and philosophy as well, and that's why they are using that kind of connotation, the higher mind. Now we have the full moon. It is conjoined with Black Moon Lilith. So that's our shadow. Everybody has one, right? It's interesting how kids are so kind of fascinated with their shadow when they're in the street or they're outside playing, right? Or even in the yard. But we have Black Moon Lilith there. And Lilith is the shadow, and it is in your 12th house of endings. So this is, you're shedding something here, Capricorn, or the moon can help you shed a shadow aspect of you, of yourself. All right. I don't know what you've been doing. No, I'm teasing, but it's actually in my first house. I'm a Sagittarius, so for me, it's a little more personal. But in that 12th house, that is the 12th house of loss, endings and release, sacrifice, self-undoing, and obstacles. So for you, we have this axis in terms of houses on the obstacle axis. Yeah, axis, not access. So the sun is over here in your sixth house. The sixth house is your health and your work. It's your daily obligations and obstacles, right? These are lifestyle obstacles, basically, or that are attached, that can be kind of related to the things we do every day, or our habits and patterns and things like that, right? So we have that there. So you may be kind of getting something out of that, right? With the full moon, we always have an opposition with the sun, right? So Jupiter is ruling the full moon and it's ruling your seventh house, not your seventh house, I'm sorry, your third house of ideas. And this third house is associated with Gemini. Very interesting in the natural chart. So that is your third house of thinking. And remember, we're on the intellectual axis. So you could be understanding with this full moon, like you're able to solve problems, or you see a problem and you like, I have to, and something that maybe you can release it and help you to move forward, most likely with more purpose, or to bring more meaning into your life when you get rid of these problems or whatever it is that you are basically releasing here. And so, yeah, and it can be a little challenging. Well, the good thing is the sun is not in your 12th house. No, the sun is actually in your sixth. But this third house where Jupiter is ruling, the North Node is there. So, this is where we are trying to go. It is the soul's mission. And the South Node is always what we're trying to move away from. It is associated with past lives and lack, and even in this life, these things that can be limiting us, right? It's like if we are stuck in the past, it is kind of, that's what it can be. Then how can we grow and how can we have meaning in our life, right? So that's this is very Jupiter's ruling this house here, being opposed by your ninth house, which is also a Jupiterian house. Now yours is ruled by Mercury because it is, but the ninth house in the natural chart um, is ruled by Jupiter. So we have a lot of connections here. The third house is ordinarily ruled by Gemini. And we're talking about the natural chart, and the only sign that has a natural chart is Aries because it starts with the first house, and the chart is divided, the sequential houses. But that's Jupiter there, sort of. And Mercury is flavoring that. Now, Mercury is also the ruler of the sun. So when we talk about the full moon in Sagittarius, we always have to include Gemini when we have a full moon because the sun is in Gemini. And Gemini and Sagittarius have a lot to share with each other or give to each other. Um, because with every full moon or every opposite sign is something we can learn from the other side, the other sign to, really move into our higher self or to benefit ourselves, things like that. So here we have Mercury ruling the ninth, but we have Jupiter. I think I didn't mention this. Jupiter is in your seventh house of relationships, any type of relationships. It's business and clients as well, and how you create harmony and balance in your life. So there's something here that you're trying to create that harmony in your life, Capricorn. That's pretty clear here. And you're thinking of ways to do it, and that's a good thing, right? Um, and so that's how it appears here. Jupiter itself, we'll go back to Mercury in a minute. Jupiter is squaring Chiron, and Chiron is the wound that we all carry that can, have us self-sabotage. Yeah, you could be saying everybody does that. And I would say on some level, the lesser the better, of course. That's when less is better for sure. But Chiron is in your fourth house of home and family. This is your roots, but this is your emotional foundation. So, which is really important, right? So, these are angular houses, Capricorn, and which are very important. These are the life houses that matter the most, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th, and the first, those four houses. But Chiron is making a square there, and Chiron is that wound, and it's in, the personal sign of Aries. So this square, Jupiter with the full moon, Jupiter is asking you to make an adjustment and to kind of let some old wound go. And that Black Lilith in your 10th, in your 12th house of endings with the full moon is backing that up, I would say. Yeah, in a very kind of, hey, let me help you out to, spiritually. Hey, Chiron, let me help you out, to kind of make this more clear, right? So Chiron's going to be moving very soon. It's at the 29th degree. The Sagittarius full moon can really make you see something. And because the 29th degree for Chiron is, it wants to leave, but they say that sometimes, something can happen kind of unexpectedly maybe, but something should be done before Chiron leaves. That's one of the ideas here with Chiron, right? So now we have Mercury ruling the sun, and Mercury is ruling your sixth house, where the sun is, your sixth house of work, health, and daily routines and obstacles. But Mercury also rules Virgo in your ninth house of growth and expansion. Remember, I hit on this that is Sagittarius's house. So there is a lot of Mercury and Sagittarius here for you. They're really Mercury and Jupiter here for you. And in your ninth house is being ruled by Mercury. Mercury wants you to discern, especially in Virgo. It wants you to ground yourself. And Capricorns are typically they are a grounded sign. But we all have a big chart, right? A big chart full of lots of different aspects and houses and signs. And so here we have Mercury ruling that ninth house, and you have the part of fortune there. And I have to point this out because the part of fortune is how you thrive. Now, what it is saying here, if you want to grow and expand, right? Everybody does, of course. It's kind of a silly way to put it. But we have the South Node there. The South Node wants you to leave behind things that are limiting in order for you to grow and expand, in order for you to kind of step into your purpose, right? Jupiter is associated with your purpose. So yeah, that South Moon is there. That South Node is there, and yeah, Mercury is in its own sign, which is making this full moon ever so powerful. It's right across here from the full moon. It's not an actual opposition because we don't give it that much of wiggle room. Kind of, it's at 28 degrees Mercury and the full moon's at 9. Yeah, it's kind of, but it's still opposing the energy of Sagittarius and Gemini, right? Or we can say kind of Jupiter and Mercury in a way, right? So yeah, so there we have that. And let's see what Mercury's doing here. And making that square to Chiron. And what was Jupiter? Jupiter was making the no, Jupiter, I'm sorry, Jupiter was making the square, sorry. And Mercury is making a sextile, which is a positive configuration. And the sextile it takes your engagement, right? It takes you have to act or you have to kind of be a part of it, like kind of co-create with the universe, if you will. And here's Mercury making that sextile to Chiron. And Mercury is like this is you understanding, right? With your clear thoughts, right? With the help of the full moon, you are thinking here that, this is kind of your thoughts about letting something go. And you're very rational here about it because like logical, because here's Mercury in its own sign, and Mercury rules logic. Remember, we were talking about the rational mind, Mercury, and then, versus the higher mind. So, right, we need this logic. What are we going to do without logic, right? But it's when we rely on that too much, and we get our pros and cons list out about a decision instead of just trusting our intuition, right? Because the pros and cons list is going to go, oh, well, what about that? Then you think of something else. What about that? And pretty soon you're kind of a juror in your own life, and you're going, oh God, right? So with that list. So yeah, there's an opportunity here. A sextile can be an opportunity if you so want to for you to it's for you to like get over something or like release something or overcome an insecurity or a vulnerability. And it can be physical. It's unlikely it is. It's in a physical sign though, but it can be. Um, right. And so physical things can sometimes kind of hinder the way we think about ourselves. They can if we let it, right? We don't want to ever let that happen, right? No, we don't. And so, yeah, so there you have it there. And your own Saturn, which is important, um, your own Saturn is here, and that is being trined by the moon. And Saturn's in your fourth house of emotional foundation. And natal Saturn here is ruled by Mars in Aries. But Saturn there from Sagittarius is from the full moon is really, and so is Lilith, right? Making that trine to excuse me, to Saturn and Pallas Athena. But to Saturn, it is like, move with kind of resilience, right? And that Chiron kind of thing that you can be letting go of, that can help you to be more resilient, right? And Capricorns are, because they are ruled by Saturn. So that is your natal. And this is about you becoming more, or not, maybe not becoming, but yeah, it is with Chiron over here, kind of becoming more resilient here. So you can live with more purpose, right? That's what the full moon wants for us. Right. And then you have also, it can be boundaries too, that it can talk about boundaries there, that and boundaries, that's kind of a big subject because we can have boundaries that kind of help us and boundaries that can block us, right? If we get a little too rigid there. But we have Pallas Athena here being tried, and that is us noticing our emotional patterns. So that can you if you are able to notice your emotional patterns, you can grow to be more resilient. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? When we talk about psychology, at least, right? It's in that fourth house, which is a very psychological house. That is a house of your emotional foundation. And Pallas Athena can, therefore can result in strategy and wisdom. And there we have the full moon doing that. So very good for you, Capricorn. And Saturn, let's look at Saturn because it's ruling your first and your second house. And your second house is your house of material comfort and well-being. And we see a sextile here between these asteroids, between Pallas Athena and also and Saturn, yeah, to Jupiter, I mean to Juno. And Juno is like the thing that we want or the thing that is very beautiful for us, right? That can be one way of looking at it. And we have it here. It is in Aquarius in your second house. There's a sextile here where you can bring more well-being or kind of like have what you want here, but it has to be done kind of um, even feel better, more well-being. Yeah, but it has to be done with belief and wisdom and meaning or purpose. There's the astrology is trying to honestly bring everybody purpose, right? Or have them see, you're kind of have them see what is really meaningful to them in their life. That's what that's about. And Saturn is ruled by Mars. We'll look at Mars. It rules your fourth house, and Mars also rules your um, Scorpio, which is your 11th house of future aspirations. So everything is connected here. Mars is showing up as to the future, right? Jupiter is really associated with the future because anything that is, because it is associated with the higher realms, growth and expansion, and that is definitely future for the future, right? We also have Mars showing up here in your fifth house of self-expression. This is the fifth house of the heart, how you show yourself, your creative pursuits. The fifth house of the heart, your talents, your kids, um, your love and sex. This is, we can be considered the fun house, but it is the house of the heart, how you live from the heart. Mars is there, and this is wanting you to live from the heart as the moon trines these Saturn, which is ruled by Mars. And here's Mars in that house of the heart. All right, I'm going to end this reading, Capricorn. If you'd like a reading with me, yeah, and please, check out the description box below. And thanks so much for joining me here. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell, and you'll be notified of my next upload. And I'll see you in the next video.